All right, in this video, I'm going to go through the rest of these points that you need to be familiar with presentation software. Let's look at background. Right, so if you wanted to change the background of your slides, then you can go to Format Background, and then you can adjust the fill color. So if you wanted it orange, then you could do that. It's a terrible color. Anyway, you can highlight, not highlight, you can adjust the transparency of the color. So you can do that. You can also go to gradient fill and pick just different like 2-tone, 3-tone, 4-tone colors, and you've got all sorts of adjustment options over here. You can also do picture fill, pattern fill, and so on. Usually though, I mean, simple gradient fills are usually very, very nice. So you can just have a look and experiment with that. You can just apply it to a single slide, or you can opt to apply it to all, which in this case it suits. It looks quite nice, so I'm just going to leave it. So obviously if a task is asking you to do that, or if it says, make the presentation, make it presentable, whatever, and then these are things that you can think about changing the background. Okay, that's that. Okay, so we've got the contents here. It would be nice if I can click on this when I run the presentation and just be able to go to whichever slide I wanted to, because currently I have to click and it just goes forward, in advance, and I can go backspace, go back here again and remember what's on there. Obviously, I've only got 3 slides here at the moment, but if you had more, then it would be nice if you had some sort of navigation system. So let's go ahead and insert some hyperlinks. So you right click the text and then you go to hyperlink, and then instead of the first option, which is existing file or web page, which is what you would do if you wanted to perhaps take it to a website somewhere, we place in this document. So feather star will go to feather star. There we go, simple as that. Right click this, hyperlink, this next one will go to this, and the last one will go to the shrimp slide. Here we go. Lovely. Okay. Now before I did something, these were actually changing to blue. I'll show you what happened. Normally when you do any hyperlink in PowerPoint, it just switches it to blue. So how you sort that out and pick the colors that you want is you go to design, and then you go to this option here where you expand for more, and then you go to colors. And then from colors, you go to customize colors. And it's here where you change the color of the hyperlink and the followed hyperlink if you want as well. So before it was blue and purple or something, and I changed it to green and then dark green. So that's why mine's looking different. Okay, so you just make sure you play around with that if you want to. Okay, right, so that's done. So now when I run the presentation, I can go to feather star and it goes to feather star. Lovely. I press backspace and I go to mantis shrimp. Lovely. I want to go back to contents now, so I have to go 3 times. There we go. So I mean, it might be quite handy if I had some links or something here that would take me back to contents. So another thing you need to be comfortable with is action buttons, and they are in insert, shapes, and at the bottom over here. Okay, so if I click on, let's do this. Let's do home, the action button home. Let me just put it up here for now. And I want this to hyperlink to, not the next, not first, not, I want it to go to a specific slide. I want it to go to slide number 2 because that's my content. So I'm going to specify this here, contents. Okay. And that's it. You don't want anything else to happen. Lovely. That's that. So this icon is actually, let me make it an exact square. Here we go. Lovely. Now let's go ahead and put in a previous and next button. That'd be quite handy. So let's go ahead and do that. This is going to be my previous slide. Nothing need to change there. That's fine. Just check the size. Just be pedantic about this, because if you don't, then it looks ugly. It really does. Anyway, let me show you. Let me show you what it looks like when you don't have it exact same size. It just makes you twitch. Here we go. And next slide will go to next slide. Okay. That's just terrible, isn't it? Okay, so let's just make sure we've got it consistent in terms of size. It's not a hard thing to do. Just read the size and adjust accordingly. Lovely. And then even if they are the same size, don't mess it up and do uneven placement. Make sure you've got them at the same height, equidistance, and so on. Lovely. If you want to move them all somewhere, then go ahead and move them all, but move them all together so it makes sense. Okay, it looks much better. Lovely. So we've got them on this slide. Oops. let's go ahead and copy and paste them onto the other slides as well. Lovely. So it's all done now. So all the links will be the same. You don't need to right click and specify go back to home again. It's done. It's fine. You can test it. You can even test it from here, by the way, by just going to open hyperlink, and it just goes to where it needs to go. If I click that, oops, where's the hyperlink? Let me run this. It should be working. Here we go. Previous goes to previous. Absolutely lovely. Goes to next, goes to next. This is the last slide and we've got a next icon. It might not make sense actually to have a next icon on the last slide. So I'm just going to take that off and just leave these as they are. So they are all working fine. So that's how you would do action buttons. If for whatever reason you wanted to apply a link to something custom like an image or another icon here, maybe a smiley face or something, I don't know. Let's just say for whatever reason, oh no, I made him sad. There we go. I can right click and go to hyperlink, and I can just pick the title if I want to pick the title for whatever reason. Let's just say you wanted to do that. Let's just put that up here. Okay. And if I run that, I can go to home. I can go back to Mantis. I can go back. I can go forward. Yeah. So you can just you can apply a hyperlink to pretty much anything. Okay. Lovely. The last couple of things I'm going to go through are animations and transition effects. Right, so here, where could we apply animation? Or you can apply it to anything really. Let me just go ahead and apply it to the image here. Okay, so you click on the image, go to animations, and then you pick your entrance animation. If you rather it didn't enter, but it just did something on the screen, then obviously that's when you use emphasis, and exit is if you want it to fly off. I'm just going to pick an entrance one for now, whatever. Fade. Let's just do a fade. Okay, let's run that, see what it looks like. All right, so I have to click it for it to appear. I don't want to click it for it to appear. I'd rather it just came itself. So let's go to after previous and run it again. All right, that appeared too quickly. So I'm going to add a delay. Here we go. Let's add 2-second delay. So that's quite nice. It's appeared after as I've started reading and it just appears in the background. That's quite nice. If you think that the animation from start to end is too short or too long, then you can change that here. So if I change it to 1.5 seconds, from when it starts appearing, it's going to take 1.5 seconds to fully appear. Okay, so you can just play around with that. Don't make it too slow because that's what some people do and it's just so cringy. Don't do that like this. Yeah, so just think about, finding a happy medium, maybe. That'd be better, lovely. Okay, and then you would probably apply the same animation if it's, like a consistent theme anyway. You've got like a house style in terms of, the image formatting you've got going on, the text, the headings is all like following the same style. Then it might make sense to keep the same animation. The only reason why you might change it is because there's a reason and it really works. So fine, I will let you experiment with that. Okay, right, so that's animation. Obviously, you can make text fly in as well. Let's just make these links fly in, why not? Let's make them appear. And they will appear after previous is fine. Auto duration delay, lovely. Let's see what happens. Hold on, haven't we selected after previous? So this should appear after previous. There we go. That was a bit quick. Let's delay it a bit. What's this auto? Let's do that. Let's see. That's a bit, no. See, that's an example of how it shouldn't be. Duration, delay, which one? Let's get rid of duration a little bit. Here we go. Let's see. Okay, so that's shortened it a bit. Let's just completely get rid of it. No. Oh, is it the delay then? Is that delay in between? Yeah, that's the delay in between each one, and duration is nothing. What is duration? Anyway, fine. Play around with it yourself. Lovely. Okay, what's the last thing? Transition effects. Right, let me run this presentation from the beginning. Here we go. Lovely. There's a title slide. Space. The next thing happens. Lovely. Yes, exactly as I wanted. And here we have the next slide appearing with its lovely image, and then the last one as well. Cool. Okay, well you would notice that it was just cutting to from one slide to the next, just cutting. There's no like smooth transition, there's no blend. So we want a blend of some kind. Let's put a blend on the first slide. So let's go to transitions. And let's just, I don't know, just do whichever one for now. Let's do a shape. There you go. That's quite nice. Let's go ahead and not on mouse click. It will just happen after 1 second. Lovely. Oh, that just moved on to the next slide. So let's leave it as on mouse click because you might not be ready. Here we go. Okay. So the next transitions, you can either have the same transitions, or if you want a slightly different transition, then you can do that. Again, if you're going to be applying the same one, it might be better. You can actually hold down Shift and select all the slides together and then apply the same transition. So let me just do, I don't know, let's just do wipe. Okay. And let's see what happens with this. Okay, so you can see it's wiping from one slide to the next. If you go to home, then it wipes. Go to Mantis, it wipes. Lovely. Okay, so yeah, there you go. Have a play around with that. You can also, you've got further customization options, not just in transitions, but also in animations. So if you click on any of your animations, if you go to animation pane, then you've got options. You can play around with this. I'll let you have a go at that, but don't get like too excited when it comes to the actual exam task and you do like 15 different animations in one slide and 7 different transitions because you can. Don't do that because it messes things up obviously, and it might just result in something quite terrible when it could have been lovely. Right, I don't think there's anything else. Yep, I've gone through everything. If you have any questions, please ask.